Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Here we are again, live, KEM Top Talk. I'm your host, Marabelle Blue.
And I'm your co-host, Justine Llanes.
Did you miss us?
And this is Lady.
Yes, my dog just wants to be in everything for some reason, but that's okay. So, I'm always, every time I hit the chat room, I always go to social stream by accident.
Well, the chat room is open now.
Yes, the chat room is open right here on Ustream. It's KEM Mag. I'm sorry, KE Mag. That's the user. Hi, Dr. Sue. Dr. Sue is with us today on this very special episode of KEM Top Talk. Now, I know people have been asking, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? We have been going through such a transition in our lives. I've been working on other stuff. Justine has been working on other stuff. And it's just been unfortunate that we have not been able to sit down and do a KEM Top Talk.
Right.
It's not like we don't. We're just getting a lot of things together so that we can have a much more professional KEM Top Talk.
Right.
But for now, this is what it is. And you still get us. You get our beautiful
and you
faces.
Get Lady.
And you get our boobs. And you get my dog. Okay. So let's get started. First, we need to say hi to Dr. Sue, who is on Skype with us. So you should be able to hear her nice and clear.
Hi, Dr. Sue.
Hello, gorgeous lady. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, just peachy keen.
Well, on this special, like I said, this special episode of KEM Top Talk, this is a rounding of the year of 2012.
Right.
And currently we're working on the Kinky Magazine issue, the year in review issue. It's my favorite issue of all issues because not only do I get to put a shout out list together, I get to put the shit list together too.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
That's a nice list.
And nobody wants to be on the shit list. And for some reason, the shit list keeps growing and the shout out list kind of, I don't know why that is, but it just is.
I think it has something to do with the weather. Like, the colder it gets, the worse people behave. I can't.
Could be. I don't know. I think we should do a study on that one.
There has to be a correlation. I mean,
because there's been a lot of assholeageness running around lately. So.
That's a new word.
May I
say,
assholeageness might be my new favorite word of all time. Assholeageness we need to put this in the Urban Dictionary. Assholeageness.
I agree. I totally agree.
I like it. Please put your finger in my assholeageness. That's what I'm going to say next time I'm with somebody.
And I'll bet you they don't miss a beat and don't ask you until it's over. If they're smart.
I totally believe it. I totally agree.
They stop right in the middle and go, what did you just say? Okay, no, you're not paying attention.
Will you please tongue punch my assholeageness?
On so many levels.
I like it. We need to make it work.
The new word of the day, assholeageness.
Every time, it's our secret word, everyone. So every time we say it, we throw a party.
It's like, what an assholeageness.
You could do like a drinking party with it. The only problem is because it hasn't caught on yet, no one would get drunk. So it would be kind of boring.
I would.
Yeah, really.
I would be so drunk. That's like every time I play that drinking game, Never Have I Ever. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So you go, you sit in a circle and you'd say like, never have I ever slept with someone I work with. And if you have, and like everyone goes around and says something new. And if you've done the things someone else says, you have to drink. So you don't say I have or whatever, you just drink if someone's done that thing.
I just heard my phone and it's over there.
I get so drunk every time I play Never Have I Ever within the first 5 minutes. Because I've done it all and I'm like, yep.
Okay, I could say something, but I'm going to choose to be very nice.
Ooh, somebody said secret.
As much fun.
Dr. Sue, somebody said in the chat room, secret word of the day. Wow, look for Cowboy Curtis to bust through any through
Any
any
minute.
minute.
From Pee Wee Herman, Cowboy Curtis. It was always funny to me because he was a black cowboy, and I was like,
Castaway is
But there really
is
are black
fan.
cowboys.
Castaway is my only fan. Isn't that cute? He's my number one fan.
Aw, hi Castaway.
He's not your only. He's maybe your number one fan, but definitely not your only fan. There's so many people when they found out that you were going to be on tonight. There's so many people tweeting and like really excited to like listen to you on our show, which is great because we love having you.
Yes. And you know, we
I
couldn't
love coming on here. This is fun.
we couldn't wrap up, you know, a whole year of 2012 without not having Dr. Sue and her input.
I think that's
we're doing the same thing on Tuesday, and as I told Marabelle earlier, I want both of you girls, if you're not doing anything Tuesday evening, to give us a call on the show and tell us everything that's upcoming for the magazine and for the show, and definitely give us a call because it's like open mic night.
Oh.
Like confessions as well. So it's going to be, you know, confess your sins before the end of the world because we're all going to die in a few days.
Oh, that's right.
The show is actually called the Holy Crap, It's the End of the World Merry Christmas Show.
I like it. I forgot that the end of the world's nearing.
Yeah.
And I should go and deplete my bank accounts now.
It is, and my co-host had the...
What are you going to buy?
Hookers.
The end of the world is actually on a Friday, which we both feel is very not fair, simply because, well, like, why couldn't we have the weekend to party first?
Right. Can we end the world on a Monday, please?
Exactly.
Something just flew into my eye. That's so wrong while this show is going on.
And we were going to do prank calls. I might still do it, but in
prank calls?
Chick blowing her head off and over a prank call, which, I mean, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but I...
Well, you know, you don't want it, right, you don't want to do a prank call where somebody's going to go ahead and kill themselves.
Yes, yes you do.
And the prank call had... Sorry. In my opinion, this woman had something very, very wrong with her.
Wait, but do you really think that, for anybody who has been watching the news this week, 2 Australian radio DJs called the hospital where Princess Kate Middleton was because apparently she's pregnant and she's been barfing her brains out like every day. It's one of these pregnancies where, you know, it's like the extreme of morning sickness.
I had that for 5 months. It was brutal. So I can just imagine apparently she was totally dehydrated.
Yeah.
So being pregnant is just like having a perpetual hangover? Because this is my life every day.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah.
Right. So how?
Yeah,
how am I gonna know when I'm pregnant then? I always feel like that. I'm always hungover.
Do you see what's in my eye because it's driving me insane? Is there like a feather or like
there's this big brown thing.
Is there a
oh wait, that's your eye. No, I don't know what's in your eye.
Oh my God. Well, whatever it is, I wish it would leave my eye right now. But anyway, yes. So she was in the hospital, and these Australian, you know, people called, and they were playing a joke that they were the Queen of England. And the first call that they get is the receptionist of the hospital. Now, I don't know what hospital this is, but apparently the person who answered the call and transferred the phone call to the nurse was the woman who killed herself. Now, all she did was transfer a call. And it was so devastating.
Was the one giving out information, for the love of God.
Right.
Like,
the one that gave out the information is totally fine.
He's fine, yeah.
But the one that just transferred the call, she just went and... But meanwhile, she died under unusual circumstances. Now, are we going to hear what happened to the other nurse?
Well, here's the thing. You have to figure, and here's what I think about, like, when people kill themselves, and especially over things like this, you have to think to yourself, what kind of person were you to begin with that you're going to take your life because of something like this?
For a transfer.
Right.
I'm just saying, blah, blah, hospital, who's calling, hold on.
Something else. I agree with Dr. Sue. Something else had to be at play.
She would have to have been on the brink, and basically if she'd have broken a nail, would have basically
right. So I don't think that
break she had to have been.
Right.
That was so innocuous. It was so inane.
Mm-hmm.
The thing was just They even said it was very poorly done, but it was hilarious. And was it bullying? No, it had nothing. It had no negative overtones. They were just goofing around. It was nothing negative at all.
Right. So I
This woman was obviously
on the brink. There was something very wrong there. I don't think that these hospital people should be held accountable, or like the radio show people or anybody, because I feel like, yeah, like you said, she could have broken a nail and that would have sent her over. You know,
somebody's head has to go on the chopping block. So if it's going to be anybody, it's going to fall back onto the station and then onto the DJs. Now, the DJs were, in my view, they walked in and said, we are resigning. Like, they're taking themselves off the air voluntarily because of what happened. They didn't have to do that. They weren't asked to step down.
Oh, I thought they were. Well, according to here in the United States news, our media told us that they were, you know, dismissed or suspended. I think the word was suspended.
Yeah, but it was a voluntary suspension.
Oh.
So they walked in and said, we are going to officially resign, basically till the heat's off, and then maybe they'll get their job back. But I don't know. That's going to be between the station and them. But somebody's head's going to have to roll, and it's going to have to be the station manager that allowed them to do it.
This makes no sense to me.
Why do you say that?
I'm so sorry. This makes no sense to me, because it's like, yeah, okay, someone's head has to go on the chopping block, but why not the person who took their own life? They didn't kill somebody. Like, I just don't get it. I mean, it was a prank call. Everyone does it. And it's...
Because when you're talking national airwaves and you're talking, you know, recording it, and, you know, now somebody's got to be liable at some point because someone made a boner move.
But Dr. Sue, okay, so if that's the case, what about the video that went viral? I don't know if you saw that sometime this week or last week, where people apparently were going to some appointment and they had to get on an elevator, and I don't think the elevator was really going anywhere. The door closed, the lights went out, like they flickered, and then they went out, and a little girl crawled out of a crawling space because clearly the elevator's not moving, and she looked like, you know, the little girl from that movie with the well. What is it called? The Ring.
Oh, The Ring, okay.
And then, of course, the lights go on. This little girl standing there, and they're screaming their heads off. Aren't these people liable to take out a lawsuit for a practical joke that they didn't ask?
Let me tell you something. I'm liable to kick that little girl's head off and claim that happened to me. I don't know, someone's playing a joke on me. I see this little girl in an elevator. Oh, no, I'm going to kick her in the jugular. Are you kidding me? And then I can't be held accountable for killing a little girl. I might feel bad about it, but I can't be held accountable for my actions. When it comes to fight or flight, I usually fight. And I'm telling you right now, if I kick a little girl in the head, sorry, not sorry.
No, and you're right. But from a legal standpoint, this is where this kind of stuff is getting into a gray area. And it's from a legal standpoint, if anything had happened to anybody in that elevator, whoever rigged up the film was the one that would be liable for the deaths of these people. If someone had run out of that elevator and walked into a, you know, bus because they were freaking out, that person's going to be responsible.
Well, you know what? Now that you say that, there was a joke like that.
Sign the legal disclaimer. That's when you're no longer.
There was a, but you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because there was a joke like that where some guy scared the shit out of a girl, and she went running out the door into the street and apparently got hit by a car. And who knows if this...
That was actually has been disputed on Snopes.
Okay, so then it's not real.
It's bullshit, but everyone has seen that. That was another one that went viral. That, you know, the chick being hit by the car and whatever because she was so scared. That's why I used it as an example.
Oh,
because
okay.
It actually could happen. It's the same as, okay, at what point, where do you draw the line? You got a whole pile of people over at your house. Someone leaves your house and they are drunk as a skunk and they go and hit somebody and kill them.
Right.
Who's liable?
Right.
Right. At some point, we have to say we're adults and we have to be held...
Yeah, like, somebody's got to take responsibility.
Right, but at some point, people have to start taking responsibility for their own actions. And unfortunately, in the case of this Kate Middleton hospital fiasco, unfortunately, the person that has to take responsibility for their own actions is already dead.
Right.
But I'm sorry, when you take your own life, you're an adult. You've chosen if you leave somebody's house drunk and you hit somebody, it's not the person who's been giving you liquor's fault, because you're an adult and you're of age. I'm assuming that you're of legal drinking age and you're of sound mind, and that's why people have given you this alcohol consumption and everything. So I believe that everyone has to start, especially we as Americans, we have to start taking responsibility for our own actions. I'm so sick of everyone
passing the buck.
Passing the buck. But wait a minute, what about this and this and this? At what point do you go, okay, well, let's blame, in that case, let's blame the fact that you were born on your parents and their parents and their parents.
Right. It has to stop somewhere.
Okay, so, but if you look at it from the other point of view, which is, yeah, someone at some point needs to take responsibility, because what you're looking at is, oh, you know why? Because Justine's like, in a perfect world, we should all take responsibility for our own actions.
Right.
You know, in a perfect freaking world.
Right.
No one does.
Right.
And that's the problem. So at some point, you got to be able to draw a line in the sand and go, okay, you fuck up across this line, I don't care who you are, you're screwed.
Right. Right. I think, especially with so many, like, celebrities that get off the hook for, like, drunk driving and hitting someone, or all these, like, everything that they do, and they get off the hook, or they get kind of, and then we as, what I say, and I use, you know, regular people,
right?
Then we're held accountable, and we're like, wait a minute, and it's like what you said, you have to draw a line in the sand and say, everybody, don't care who you are, has to be held accountable for such and such actions, under such and such statutes.
Right.
This is what we have laws for.
Right. And it's supposed to apply to everybody, not just selective group of people.
Right.
Speaking of selective group of people, this week I was watching The View. Now, I normally don't watch that show. No, I don't ever watch that show. But it just so happens that one of the guys from the Memphis 3 was going to be there. That's the 3 guys that were accused of killing those 3 little boys.
Oh, okay.
You know, all the celebrities got involved because they really didn't kill these boys. So that was the only reason why I watched it, because one of the guys was there to be interviewed and promote his book. Let me tell you something. It's so devastating to know this guy was in solitary confinement, and they had to explain the reason why he still, even though he's been out of jail, he still has to wear sunglasses because he can't have glaring lights in his eyes, because he says even though he was in solitary confinement that they do let them out for an hour, they let them out to another cell. Like they don't put them outside. So that was the reason why I watched The View, because of that. Needless to say, Janine Pirro was there, and they got into a segment where they were talking about Lindsay Lohan. She has been caught again with the whole drinking and stuff like that, and they're saying this time around that she's going to go to jail because she basically violated the terms of her
probation, right?
Or parole, whatever. Probation, isn't it, right?
It's probation.
And basically, she was saying that Lindsay Lohan is an alcoholic, and she needs to, she needs to get a grip on herself and her life and accept that she has a drinking problem. Period. The end. This all goes back to people being responsible for their own actions. So while I thought she was great in Liz and Dick, and it was nice to see her acting again.
She was great in Liz and Dick. Oh my, that was the worst. I'm sorry. I quit this show. I can't. How can anyone think she was awful? Awful. It was laughable. It was like, I couldn't even. No, I'm sorry.
I was trying to be nice.
It was like watching.
I tried to be nice.
Because you know why? Mr. Lohan is on my Facebook list, and I was praising his daughter. You know, she did a great job or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that Liz did not sound like that when she was alive. She was a very dainty and, very soft-spoken, sexual, but yet very eccentric and over the top. I can't believe this.
Here's the thing. What's happening with you?
I gotta get the plug. If not, the thing is gonna go along.
Okay, so I'll put in my 2 cents then in this whole. I felt like when I was watching Liz and Dick, I've always been a Lindsay fan. I've always been Team Lindsay. I've forgiven her mistakes and said, well, she grew up. she didn't really get a child, or she grew up childhood, or she grew up too young, or whatever excuse was that I could to make for the fact that I loved her, because I thought she was a great actress. So I was excited to see Liz and Dick, and it was like watching a child play dress up. It was so bad, and it was such an injustice to Elizabeth Taylor. I'm sorry, I can't condone anyone saying her acting was good in that. And I've always defended that she's a great actress, and that she's a hot mess, but that we still love her because she's gorgeous or whatever. But no, I'm sorry, it was the worst thing ever. It was like, if I were Lindsay Lohan, I would be so proud to get any work and so excited that I would be like, let me do my best on this, and then maybe I'll get more work from this. And to me, it was like she just didn't care.
Yeah.
To me, it was like she learned her lines right before she went on camera and was like, well, just say them however I know how to memorize them. It was so bad.
I just found out that one of my cats is trapped outside the bedroom door.
That's really funny.
Okay. Oh, can you hand me my book? I'm like so disheveled over here. Okay. So basically, getting back to what started this off,
right.
She needs to be responsible for her own actions.
Yes.
She gets a free pass, and then she goes and she turns around and fucks it all up again.
Right.
But it's because they're giving her free pass.
Right. I didn't get a free pass when I was going around being a drunkard and disturbing the public.
They need to be on silent. I can't handle that sound anymore. I cannot handle that noise anymore.
My cat is upset. I gotta let her in.
No, leave her outside.
No, my sister just.
If you keep giving her free passes, she's never gonna learn. I feel like I was given when I was doing drugs, and I was in high school, and I did a lot of drugs, and I was, messing up and doing a lot of things and running around with gangs even. And like I had to learn, and I was given a second chance, and I was given a free pass. And instead of saying, well, I've been given this free pass and that means I'm untouchable and I can just do what I want, I'm now, I turned it around, and I came to a point where I was like, okay, at 16 years old, I got my own job to pay my way through private school, because public school is obviously not doing it for me anymore. And I straightened up my act, and I graduated top 10, and I went to college, and then a scholarship to New York. And it's because I got the free pass. If I had been put in the system, like all the other kids, and not given a free pass, I don't know where I'd be right now, but it wouldn't be here.
Right.
So the problem is Lindsay has been given more than
one, right? So I feel like there are people who can benefit from things like, you can turn into a good seed, and they can benefit from a free pass, but at some point you got to pull the rug out from under people and say, listen.
Yeah, you can apply the fool me once, shame on you.
Right.
That's fine. Mm-hmm. Give her the free pass the first time around. But if she continues to screw up, which she is, then no, slap her ass in the can, which is where it should be.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, orange does not look good on her. Redheads should not wear orange.
No.
Well, no, because then they blend in and become all
and
like
shouldn't be a blonde either.
Right. Oh yeah, she's awful as a blonde. Whatever.
Well,
I can't talk about her anymore.
On to the next subject. Okay.
You had a question that was supposed
I do. I'm dying for this. Okay. So it's the end of the year, right? Have we accomplished everything that we want to accomplish? No, of course not. I haven't yet. Okay. Now, one of the things that I need to say out loud, because maybe if I say this out loud, I'll actually fucking do it. I am going to go on my quest to lose these 30 pounds that I put on myself. I promise I would try not to lose my boobs, but I'm going to tell you right now, the stomach, the legs, they all got to go. Because I'm just absolutely disgusted with myself. I can't anymore.
I think she's beautiful, but I understand. I'm also on a diet thing where I'm like, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds.
Right. So if I say this out loud, then everybody will be watching, and you all piss me off, and it'll get me on the treadmill more and more.
If you click your heels together 3 times while you say it, it might actually just happen.
No, but sometimes it's good to be accountable. If you're accountable to something, it kind of will keep you on the straight and narrow.
Right.
Right.
I also would like to give everybody a free pass, and that is we've got to stop holding ourselves up to these unnatural sort of standards, and you know, oh, I've got to set all these resolutions, whatever they may be, and then we kick ourselves when we don't do it. What everybody really needs to understand is we never get it done. There is never a time when it's all finished.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When
Mm-hmm.
that happens, you are gone.
Right.
So instead of, oh, I've got this checklist and I've got to get, you know, like now it's like you got to have a bucket list and you got to
Right.
have this list and that
Mm-hmm.
list.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself a break. Okay? You don't get it done. You will never get it done. And to be totally honest, if you get it done right now, you'll croak.
Right.
So why do you want to get it done?
No, I agree
There should
100%.
always be all kinds of little things popping up, and that's why we have contrast. It's why we look at things and go, oh, wow, that's really cool. And you know what? I think that sucks over there. That's
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
That's exactly
Mhm.
what we're supposed to do.
You should have. I like that. I like the idea. You're a mess today. I like the idea of cutting down the list. You should have one list, and it should be a grocery list, and that's it. Like,
Yes. Exactly.
Just we've got to learn to be kinder to ourselves.
Yes.
We hold ourselves up to such
She wants to go down.
horrific standards that cannot possibly be achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There was someone taught me this actually very recently. Look at whatever it is you're doing or demanding of yourself and ask yourself, if you had a child, or if you do have a child, would you expect your child to do that? And if the answer is, good God, no, I would never expect them to do that, that's like, well, that's what you're doing.
Maybe
to
there's a
yourself.
reason why I'm not a mother yet.
I was just thinking of all the things my mother expects of me, and I was like,
I'm sitting here like, wait a minute.
Not in the sense of expectation, though. I'm talking more along the lines of, would you, okay, you look in the mirror. God, you are such a fat, ugly pig. You disgust me. You need to get that 30 pounds off, you fat, disgusting, ugly pig. Would you say that to a child?
No.
yes, 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 purely. And I wouldn't even say it's like a fat, ugly child. I would, because there are fat, ugly children, and the world needs to know. But I would probably just say it to any child for the pure entertainment of watching their reaction. And this is why I don't have children. This is why I don't have children. I would say it and then sit back and chuckle quietly to myself. I have to pop some popcorn first and then say it and sit back and watch. It'd be like, and I would have to say it to them.
There is that side of it.
I would have to say it to them like really, really young too, like at 8 years old, so that for like the next 10 to 20 years, I would be able to watch these comments unfold in their life and see what like really happens. It'd be the ultimate entertainment.
That's cruel,
You're
but
missing the point of
funny. Cruel but funny. Well,
Totally entertaining.
Totally
Okay.
entertaining.
so
Those are the
yeah.
3 best words that describe my life: cruel, funny, and entertaining.
Hey, and see, you got it down.
I want- That's what I want. That's what I want on my tombstone. Here lies Justine, cruel, funny,
And
entertaining.
I already know what I'm putting on mine.
What's that?
What the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
You're just looking at the tombstone. You're not really.
No, I
looking
love
at
that.
anything
I love
else.
That's so good.
I bet you they won't do it though.
It's your dying wish. They have to.
I'll lay you 10 to 1.
Well, I'm not gonna have a tombstone because I'm gonna be cremated, so I don't want any of that shit. But enough to talk about death because I start to like hyperventilate here, even though I know everybody's gonna go and hopefully we'll meet somewhere, and I won't feel so alone when
Listen,
it happens.
the doctor just told you no one's going anywhere, so you're fine.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so with that being said, the other day I was just happened to catch this program because let me tell you something. There are 3 channels that I literally watch.
Wait, the Travel Channel?
Yes.
Because it's on right now.
The ID network, which is on all day long.
That's the one where you just watch the most horrific crimes.
Yes.
All day.
Yes.
Channel.
Exactly.
It's one of my favorite.
I can't.
it's so addicting, this channel.
It is.
That, let me tell you something, that at times, if I'm listening to the channel, if I hear the story, if I like walk away from the TV and I hear what's going on and it's a repeat, I know what case they're talking about. That's how sickening
I'm
it
sorry.
is.
I just want to point out, because she has a cat in the room right now, and this cat is so fat that it's so fat. I'm sorry, that's a fat cat.
She is.
That it just jumped up near the windowsill, and I don't know if he like saw me for a second, like look over. I was like, oh my god, someone's breaking into her apartment. I was like, oh my god, someone's breaking in, and I look over and it's this huge fat cat's ass. I was like, oh okay, it's a cat, but I literally thought it was a person.
No, it's her.
She's just eating challenged.
She's probably gonna go by the. She's probably wondering where the chair is. We're sitting on it. So
Yeah, so get out of the chair.
and Dr. Sue, I wonder if you saw this episode, but here's what happened. And I want to ask everybody who's watching and anybody who will watch the replay later on tonight.
So we're asking Coco people
Yeah.
and Castaway 98 right now.
And everybody who's watching right now, who or how far would you go in your relationship to make your partner happy, whoever that may be? Okay? In this episode called Dirty Little Lies, which I've never seen before, because I guess it just so happens that I've never really bothered watching in the ID network. And I came into like probably the last 10 minutes of it.
Okay.
Apparently, a guy and a girl were together. Now, they're telling their story in real life. And I'm laughing because they show the guy's face and then the guy, you know, he's talking about whatever. And I said, oh shit, they're interviewing the guy, you know, because usually somebody's murdered in
Right.
one of these things.
Right.
Nobody was murdered in this little thing. The guy and the girl were together, and I think I wrote their names. No, I didn't, but I can't remember. So let's just call, I remember her name. His name is Eric, I think. I can't remember her name. So for argument's sake, we'll call her Sharon.
Eric and Sharon.
Look at my cat
sound
stuck
like-
in the hole.
Eric and Sharon. They sound like a perfectly fine couple to me.
Okay, so Sharon is telling her story about her boyfriend. They were together, and Eric apparently was prostituting himself so that he can buy an engagement ring.
Wait, I know this Eric. I've spent many a night with this Eric.
So that he can buy an engagement ring for Sharon. Now, the friends are totally not buying this whole story. They believe that he was a male prostitute because other women that paid him to have sex with him have disclosed that they paid him to have sex with him. And
Now, does Sharon know?
yes, she does.
But did she know that he was doing it while he was doing it?
No.
So she only found out after the match.
She found out after the fact that he was having sex with other women. So now he says that he did not have sex with other women. Then he turns around and says, okay, so I had sex with one.
Are you sure his name was Eric and not Bill Clinton?
I don't know. I'm guessing his name was Eric. I
Okay.
thought I wrote it down and I didn't, because I thought I would rely on my memory that I would remember.
I
and
did
guess
not
what?
have sexual relations with that woman.
This is what kills me, is that he actually bought the engagement ring. You see him showing the engagement ring, and he's like, Sharon, I love you. You know, I hope that you will accept this ring and marry me. Now, how would you feel if your boyfriend came to you and said, you know, I couldn't afford a ring in the most traditional sense, so I pimped out my body to buy you this ring. Will you marry me?
Okay, so it's not so black and white. How big is the ring?
It was a nice ring.
Okay. Okay, so it's a real...
I'm sorry, but that would make a difference.
Right. How nice is the ring? Did he go to Jared? Did he
The
go...
other thing I would want to know is, what the hell am I doing on Springer?
Right. Also, the other thing is, if women are willing to pay him for his gift, he must have a good gift. Because, I mean, you've got to have, like...
He wasn't that good looking in the first place. I mean, you know...
Listen, I can do stuff with your face, but I don't have to look at it.
Say, you can bag the face.
Right, I don't have to look at it, right. But, I mean, what I care about is...
style works both ways, gentlemen.
Right, thank you. You know the term butterface men? You know that term that you've coined for a woman with a beautiful body and a girl's face? Because it's so... fucking disgusting, that term. It's my least favorite term.
Yes,
butterface.
She has a good body, but her face is...
Well, we use it for you too, okay? Or as I like to call it, in Spanish, we call it coño carajo. So the term, you know coño carajo?
I know coño carajo.
So the term in Spanish, Dr. Sue, it's called coño carajo. So
coño carajo.
Coño carajo. So when you see someone from behind... Yeah, so when the term is when you see someone from behind and they look good, man or woman, you're like, coño. And then they turn around and they're ugly and you're like, carajo.
No one knows Spanish.
So you're like, yeah, up in Canada, coño, carajo.
Tuviste esa cara. You're gonna have nightmares over that shit. Oh my god.
So yes, man, we do it too. But
well,
no, all joking aside,
right? She said she was going to give him another chance. Now, for all you ladies out there, seriously, is it that serious that you would stay with your man knowing that he was pimping himself out and then took that money and bought a ring with it?
But at least he's spending it on you. I mean, at least that. But no, I wouldn't give him a second chance. No. I would take this is what I would do. Honestly, all joking aside, Justine, in real life, what I would do is take the ring, say, you slept with other women to please me, to buy me something nice? Okay. Thank you, honey. Let me have the ring that you slept with, that you cheated on me for. Let me have this ring because you weren't open with me from the get-go and you should have been. Because who knows what I would have said, but you don't know until you ask me.
Right.
So the fact that you weren't open with me from the beginning, you went behind my back and you basically cheated on me so you could buy me something pretty. Let me have this something pretty. And now I'm going to pawn it. Right. And I never want to see you again. And it's not even that you cheated on me. It's that you felt like you couldn't trust me and speak to me first. So who knows what else down the line you're ever going to lie to me about or withhold from me or, I mean, no, absolutely not. That's exactly what I do.
What do you think of all this in your therapeutic mind?
You want it to be therapeutic. I was going to give you the other side. I was going to say the first thing that goes through my mind is ka-ching. Second thing that goes through my mind is you are never going to sleep with me again, but you are now going to work for me.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
Oh, yeah, you're not going anywhere, sweetheart. And since this is what you want to do for a living, you're now going to do it for me. I am now your pimptress. Get over it.
I love it. You know the term, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
I'm just saying, there are ways around everything.
Yeah.
But I still think that it's fucked up. I mean, like, her friends are totally not buying it. I mean, I think this is the thing.
What are they not buying?
They're not buying that he was not pimping himself out. That he was pimping himself out. She was pretty. It wasn't like she was an ugly girl. She was very pretty. She had very long, like, reddish brown hair. But you know what it is? They're also, like, very ghetto. I hate to say it like that, but they are. And I just think that people that are ghetto...
Well, that's coming from low self-esteem.
Right.
Keep this guy because, wow, first of all, if you've got low self-esteem, you may look at that and go, holy cow, he did that for me. Wow, that's really cool.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You kind of go, okay, well, yeah, I think I'll keep this guy around, even though everyone's going to hate my
guy. Baby, I only hit you because I love you.
No, I think personally for me, I wouldn't be able to get past that. Because it's like knowing that he sold his body. Now, if I knew him from like a different circumstance, I certainly wouldn't judge that. Because if somebody wants to sell their body to make money, that's their business.
That's their business.
I really don't care
care about
But be
that.
honest with me and upfront, and don't hide it from me. I need
Right,
to know.
right.
Like, if we're in a sexual relationship, I need to know
Right,
who else you're sleeping with. Whether it's for money or not does not change the fact that there are STDs out there.
right.
And that there's no. I'm sorry.
No,
But
and
it,
you
it,
are
it even
absolutely
goes back
correct
to,
with that.
doesn't it even go back to exclusivity? I mean, it's like, what are the terms of the relationship?
Well, that's what you discuss before you start an endeavor like that, or before you get into a relationship with
Mhm.
somebody. If you're already involved in endeavors this way.
Right, right.
I actually recently was dating this guy who I'm not dating anymore. Not solely because of what I'm about to tell you, but because, well, he's an asshole. So that's why we're not dating anymore. Aside from the fact that he's a ginger. And
What is a ginger?
a ginger's a redhead.
Oh.
You can't, and it's not, I'm not part of some anti-ginge coalition. I'm not a racist, but everyone knows gingers don't have souls. And I mean, sucking his dick was like making out with Ronald McDonald. Okay? If you guys get a mental picture of that right there, you're welcome. But no, he told me the story about, because he knows I do Velvet Radio and this and that, and like he like thought, that's the thing with me that I don't understand, because I do Velvet Radio and it's sex talk radio, and I do this and we talk about sex and I'm very open
Right.
about like my sexuality and speaking about it, and I do the sex advice column. For some reason, when I meet a man and they find out these things about me, all of a sudden now they want to tell me everything about their favorite porn stars,
Mm-hmm.
what their, that how much they jack off every day and how much porn they watch and what they're into, and if they've ever been in, how many strip clubs they go to, and they're hooked. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me. I'm not. Listen,
They're trying to treat you like
No.
you're one of the guys.
they need to call Dr. Sue, because I don't fucking care.
I got news for you. Dr. Sue gets it too. Because when you say what you do, it's especially when I had the porn shop, they were like, "Oh, well, wow, you must watch all these porn." Yeah,
Right.
I watch every single movie of the hundreds that we have in here. Yeah, that's what I do all day.
But I'm gonna start telling men I'm an accountant so they can start talking money to me.
Yeah, that's actually probably a good idea.
Yeah, really.
But no, so he tells me this story about how he spent some time in Italy for work, and he went over to Italy and he met this woman who was a hooker, and he wasn't like buying her, he wasn't purchasing her for the evening, he just met her and he like fell for her and was dating her. And he told her, while you're with me, I don't want you prostituting. I'll take care of you, but I don't want you prostituting with other men.
Right.
And that he left her because he felt like after a while she was sleeping with other men. But he's telling me this, and the whole time going through my mind is like, oh, wait a minute. You're like dating hookers. European hookers at that.
Yeah.
So I was like, and this wasn't like very long ago, so I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Like, it might have been a little bit, it might have been somewhat wrong of me or prejudice, or, and I didn't want to judge him for what he did. I just made the personal choice that I was like, you know what, I don't want to sleep with him anymore. Because I know that he goes to strip clubs and stuff, and like, this is part of his life, and he's okay with dating hookers. And I was like, well, I don't want to pass judgment, but personally, I just don't.
No, there's a difference between passing judgment and having a personal preference. You're not saying, I want you to quit this.
Right.
You're just saying, I dig
It's not
what
for
you
me.
do, and that's fine for you, but don't
Right.
bring that drippy damn thing around me.
Right.
Right.
I didn't want to feel like some kind of square or anything either, and I didn't want to be like, oh, well, you've been with hookers, so I can't. But there was just something inside of me, especially after the conversation that we had on the last time you were on here, and after conversations I've had with people and things that I know and the shows and everything, being so involved in this world, for me, it's not worth the risk.
No, it's not. And I think a lot of people just don't grasp that anymore. For some reason, we are still living in this, it can't happen to me
Right.
mentality. And that to me is more frightening than anything else.
I feel like these people either have the mentality of it's not going to happen to me, or
I don't care.
Or I don't care because I'm so lonely and I'm never going to find anyone else.
But that's the thing, that nobody can take a risk like that, because it can happen to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
When you least suspect it, you can get checked out for everything and be with a partner, and then, surprise later on down the line, something just happens. And it could be with that one person that you were with that whole time. And then,
Right.
you know, I mean, shit just happens. So
This is
Because
why.
it's that old commercial, and I really wish they would bring that commercial back, which was the one about, you know, when you sleep with someone, you are sleeping with
Yes.
Everyone they've-
Everyone they've
Yes.
slept with.
Yeah.
It's like,
or like
Yes.
the term, like my
Yeah.
friend used to say, you know how like your bedroom is crowded when
Yeah.
you're in bed with
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. I always, and like, that's like what I think about when these men, they're bragging to me and telling me these stories about how they went to the strip club and the strippers wanted to sleep with them and they went here and they did, and like, I don't get it. And I'm like, oh, so, and then you turn around and ask me to go to Thanksgiving with you to meet your family.
Right.
And then you, no thanks. I don't even want to shake your hand anymore.
Thank
you very much.
What's really sad in the whole thing, as both a therapist and a woman, is that men probably think that that's going to get them laid.
Well, you know, here's
Can we
the
use
other
our
thing.
heads, please?
Here's the other
You know,
thing
bragging
that
about who you fucked and what you
Right.
fucked
Right.
just doesn't do it for us.
Right.
Right. Oh, when I
Exactly.
was in college, I fucked so many girls. I fucked this and this, and I'm like, oh.
Nobody wants to hear that, to be
Great,
honest.
so guess who's going to have to show me count them, 3 good blood tests over a 9-month period before I will even set foot near you.
Well, let me tell you a funny that you're gonna laugh at from my own personal experience. Remember I told you how I joined Jdate?
Yes.
Right?
So it was a very short stint at Jdate. It was basically for a month. The one guy I met, I really didn't like at all. The other guy I didn't meet, but got to speak to him on the phone. Now, our first conversation was actually rather pleasant. And then after that, go sit over there. And then after that,
This conversation
sit down.
took a wrong
go
turn
sit
very
and stop
quickly.
it, because she's being like pesty now.
No, she's not.
She is. I know, because I live with her. I saw that. So, so he ended up calling at some point, and for some reason I just never got around to returning his phone call because I just really wasn't that interested. If I'm interested, people know that I'm interested. And this is the one thing about guys, they don't get when a woman is not interested in them.
And we don't want to be rude and
Right.
be the
They
bitch.
don't get when a woman is interested in them.
I know.
Well, yeah, that's
Okay.
true. I mean, it's like ass backwards.
But
So-
it's like, we don't want to be the bitch either who's
Right.
like telling you like, listen,
Right.
it's not me, it's you.
right.
Or it's me, it's not you, it's me.
And then
not
it's like
liking
this,
you.
this really presumptuous behavior, you know, like I get that a lot too. And it's like, but you're short and ugly. Like, what makes you think that I'm attractive? I mean, it's like,
For
just
me, I don't get how short. Okay,
recently I was talking, oh, if I wasn't with my girlfriend, we would be together and
short
we would
men
be
are
doing
so
all of these things.
fucking
And I'm like,
cocky.
doing what?
It's the
Like,
Napoleon
are you-
complex.
Are you
Syndrome,
serious?
that's why.
What do you think
It's
we'll
the
be
Napoleon
doing?
complex. And here's the thing. I'm short. I'm 5'2". So short men who are like 5'5", 5'6", even 5'7", or whatever, I guess that's average, but it's kind of short.
Right.
They're so attracted to me because I'm shorter than they are. So they feel tall around me. So I keep getting all these short men, and height's not an issue for me, but I just find the correlation of like short men and a fucking ego for no reason and a
Right.
bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm supposed to be happy to be with you? Fuck you.
Right. Exactly.
Take your nasty hooker dick and go elsewhere with it. 'Cause I'm
Hooker
like,
dick.
take your hooker dick. You fucking coño carajo.
Well, you
okay?
had to hear this guy. So he calls and he leaves a message on my voicemail.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I wonder why he's calling. So I think the next day or something like that, I returned his call. I went into voicemail. Hey, what's up? Just returning your call. Hope all is well. Blah, blah, blah. Hang up. Didn't think anything of it. And finally, the next day he calls and I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? And he's like, oh, I just wanted to touch base with you and say hi. Hey, how you doing? And I'm like on the other end of the phone, like,
Was he whacking off?
Could have been.
could you tell me a little bit more about your magazine?
Are you serious?
And I'm like, you fucking asshole. You asshole. How dare you? This is let me explain something to you people out there, you men mostly. Just because I own a sex magazine, it does not mean I want to have sex with you or that I'm in my bedroom all day long fucking having sex. That is not the case, okay? I had to change my relationship status to I'm in a relationship because I'm tired of you ugly, bald ass, short motherfuckers hitting on me. Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't like you. Period. The end. I mean, it's like I have to be mean sometimes.
You have to. And here's the thing. It's like I said, a second they're like, oh, you do a sex talk radio show. Oh, and my favorite. Oh, you have who in the studio coming in? Can I go to one of your show tapings? Oh, you want to be in a serious relationship with me, but you want to come to one of the show tapings where all the porn stars and strippers are and everything, and I'm okay with that. But when you're like Pavlov's dog and you're like slurping out the mouth, and you're like, let me come to one of your tapings. Who's your favorite porn star? Let's talk about our favorite porn stars together. Let's talk about sex. Hey,
let's watch porn videos together and see
here's
what
my favorite
happens.
one. I got this one 3 weeks ago. Good morning, and I was like, in text message. It's a text message. Good morning, honey. How are you? Oh, good morning. How are you? Hey, I have something for you. What's that? Pic of the dong. A dick pic.
Wah,
It was
wah,
10 o'clock
wah.
in the morning. And let me tell you, I can't even tell you how many dick pics I get. I am so sick of dick pics. I'm gonna make a
Somebody
Christmas
started
card.
following me on Twitter. This is another thing. You get people that follow you on Twitter and they have dick pics and it's like the skinniest dick. They think it's, this lengthy. It's like a long stick.
It's a pencil dick.
It does nothing.
It's a pencil
nothing.
dick.
Nobody wants a long stick
It's a
stuck
tampon.
in their vagina.
It's a tampon.
Exactly. Nobody wants that. I don't even stick a tampon in me when I have my period.
Oh, I do. But no. For me, it's like I'm gonna take all of my dick pics that I have on my phone, and I'm gonna make a Christmas card out of them. So, Dr. Sue, you give me, Dr. Sue, when we're done with the show,
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh
you-
my god, oh my god.
it's gonna be a Merry Christmas card because I have so many dick pics. I don't know what to do with them. I might as well. So, Dr. Sue, when we're done with the show, you
Call
give
them
me your
reality cards.
right. You give me your address, and I'll send you a nice Christmas card. Okay?
Ooh. Oh, for sure. I'm loving it. It's a big money maker.
Dick pic.
Now, look, I
Christmas card.
I have the Twitter feed going, and apparently the guy who was the Bachelor on the Emily season. Don't you think he's hot? You see,
No,
now that's
I
the
don't
kind
think
of
he's
man
hot.
that I want. See,
No.
I like men.
What
like
kind of
that.
pose is that? What is he, Zoolander?
I don't know.
What is that picture? Oh my god, he took the picture of himself in a mirror with his iPhone, making Zoolander face. Okay, I can't stand when like men take pictures of themselves in the mirror and they're like holding up their phone, and then like you see the toilet behind them like in a bathroom, and they have their shirt off and they're like, yeah, girl. I'm like, no, you don't have friends? Go out with your friends and take a picture with your friends.
Well,
wrong
needless
with
to
you?
say, I think Ari is a very hot guy.
No, and his name is Ari. So
I've never
strike one.
seen this man.
You're not missing much, Dr. Sue.
He's
Oh, okay,
he's
good.
on the Bachelorette. But lady, I said stop it. You're being a pest now.
She's really not.
I mean, it's like, why are you sitting under our feet for? I get so aggravated with her sometimes. Just sit over there and stop it.
We're gonna have a show about how animals don't know what you're saying. So on next time on KEM Talk, we have a different kind of doctor on with Marabelle, and we talk about the relationship with animals and humans and how they can't speak our language. This is tune in next time, folks.
Someone will be looking in and whacking off to it anyway.
Someone somewhere is.
Someone somewhere will be
So
like,
wait,
okay,
Dr.
I'll
Sue,
look at that pussy, oh,
in
yeah.
in continuum of my
That
story.
fat fucking pussy. It's gonna be Marabelle's cat. That's gonna be the name of the show too. Fat fucking pussy. It's gonna be
Wait.
a whole show with Marabelle's cat.
In continuum of my my porn phone call. Now the guy then tells me, he starts going off on this tirade about, do I ever do phone sex? And I'm like, well, I do it with people that I'm physically involved with, and I've never met you. So no, I wouldn't do it with a complete stranger. Oh, I understand. I understand. Is there any kind of service? And I said, well, you can go to Night Flirt. I mean, it's like, where was this
A
conversation going?
service.
Seriously.
Exactly.
Oh, but you have to pay for that, right? Which goes into
Oh.
these submissive assholes who want to find a mistress and then not give them anything for it.
Oh yeah. Don't even go there.
What the fuck
There
is
are
that all
so-
about?
There are more of them than there are true submissive males.
When they finally develop the technology where you can pass money, cash money,
Right.
through from one phone to the other, then we can have phone sex.
Right.
But I'm sorry, I'm not.
Which they did for a while. That's what Venmo was.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Well, you can't use it anymore for that. They clamped down on it, and you're not allowed to use it for passing of money for any kind of sexual service.
Oh.
Not that it mattered. I mean, in Canada, we didn't have it anyways, but a lot of the girls lost money because they pulled a PayPal and shut all their accounts down. Because
That
PayPal
sucks.
does the same thing. You're not allowed to use them for that either.
That sucks.
Well, you have to use PayPal in its most discreet way
Right.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you won't
Yeah.
that you won't get screwed over
Baby girl.
with it.
Oh.
My
And you gotta
dog
learn,
is so
if
spoiled.
$5,000 in a shot, you may want to just slow down a little bit.
Right.
Stupid.
Well, needless to say, the conversation ended abruptly because I was not going to help this man jerk off on the phone. I think that was pretty disgusting.
Ew.
And while I don't have anything against phone sex because I've done it before, I'm not a prude. Let's just get something straight. I'm not a prude
Right.
by far. I am intimate with the men that I choose to be intimate with.
Right.
Operative word being I choose.
Exactly.
Right.
Let's get that straight. And I think this is where a lot of people get really fucking confused with the choices. I mean, it's like, look, people have known about this for years since I've started the magazine. And then there are people that have known me beyond that. I like white boys. I've always liked
Me
white
too.
boys. That
Me
is
too.
my strongest preference. I don't
Oh,
go out with
yeah.
any other nationality. I don't even go out with my own kind. They have to be white. Period. The end.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I like white boys.
And and a lot of people get really hot about this. And this is a topic that I want to get into the magazine. I'm going to put up a post because when we have our studio, I definitely want to do an interracial couple show. I want to find different couples that are interracial relationships, not just black and white, but maybe white and Chinese and, black and Puerto Rican and, vice versa.
It's just preference. It's not.
Right.
Listen, I've
People
dated.
have a problem with that, though. They have a serious issue with the word oh, well, did you have a bad experience? It is not related to a bad experience. It's related to that this is what I like. And that you not be fat and bald. I mean, that's not asking for too much.
Well, George Costanza was white, and he's fat and bald.
Forget it. That's like telling me to go out with Danny DeVito.
He's not white. Right?
Yes,
he's
he is.
Italian, isn't he?
It doesn't matter.
Is he Italian? Oh,
He's
you
still
mean
white.
Oh, you mean skin color white, not just their race.
No, they have to be their race. Italians, Greeks.
Let me tell you, I was engaged to a Greek man. No. Don't do
Okay,
it.
so maybe not Greek.
Don't do it. Unless you are Greek, do not marry into a Greek family. If you're not Greek, they will always remind you every time they see you that you're not Greek. Therefore, you're not good enough.
All of the European ones are like that.
Right.
Italians can be that way.
Yeah.
Everybody can be that way.
I make it a personal preference not to date European men. I also don't date Spanish men. I haven't dated a black man yet. I don't date anybody. This is I'm gonna turn over. I'm gonna turn over this new asexual leaf. Actually, my New Year's resolution is to stop having sex on the first date.
Is that what you're doing?
That's my New Year's resolution. I don't know how it's gonna work out. It'll be a fun social experiment. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we're gonna watch you crack up and get really cranky.
I'm gonna gain a ton of weight.
No, don't do that because then you'll be like me. Okay, so let's get back to the whole slaves thing. Why do you think that people, especially, the male submissive slaves are being so damn cheap?
Oh,
I think it's the
men.
economy. It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of. It's not.
The
I don't think it's just
problem,
submissive.
The main thing is that due to the economy, there was an influx of women coming online thinking that it was a quick and easy way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
When they realized that it is an actual business and that they actually had to do work,
Mm-hmm.
they then sort of lowered the standards for everything, dropped all their rates rock bottom, they're sending out panties for $5. These are used. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I have a bra on marabelleblue.com and it's not going for $5. I wore that bra.
and they have tainted, it's sort of like they've diluted the industry with garbage. So once these guys figure, oh, well, she's doing it for $5, I want it for $5.
Right.
And that's the mentality that you're having to deal with. Plus the fact that there are many, many, many men
Mm-hmm.
who think that they are submissive
And
or
they're
want to try to be submissive and don't know if it's for them or not, and they go out there and they waste your time.
Mhm.
It's clearly all they're doing.
Or they want free phone sex, like this guy was trying to get the other night.
I think a lot of it too.
They
I think a lot of it too, and like I see this a lot when I, even without sex, like when I go to the club or the bar or whatever, men want as much as they can get in general. I think
Mhm.
actually everybody just wants as much as they can get for as little as they can give.
Right.
And yeah, humans are hardwired that way. Sorry, I stepped on you. But like when I go to the bar or the club or whatever, and they're like talking to me for like an hour, then like ask me for my phone number, and you haven't offered to buy me a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much that I'm there for the free drinks, but what kind of a gentleman are you?
Well, I think that for most women,
What kind of gentleman doesn't try to get me drunk before courting me?
And you're also talking about women, diluting that down to where they will give out their numbers
Right.
without a drink, and now you're up against that again.
Right.
Now, Dr. Sue,
Can I tell you,
you're
and-
located in Canada.
Yeah.
Is it different in Canada than it is in the U.S.? Are men different in Canada? I used to date a Canadian truck driver.
No,
Oh my God, it was so
I
hot.
find most of them to be boring.
Really? I'm like in a state of shock. I don't even know what to say about that.
Canadian men
Yeah,
are
just there, because over here, because you've got a lot of British influence, there's a lot of because they would always go, oh, well, that explains that she's an American, you can tell. It was just like, why? Oh, because you've got a big mouth. It's like, oh, okay, fine.
well,
And that's just sort of the way they are. It's like, well, they don't. As a matter of fact, the best way for me to put this, when I first moved over here, I ended up moving and living in an apartment building next to what my high school was going to be. And I thought, oh, piece of cake, I can roll out of bed, go to high school, I'm ready to go. And my balcony on the 14th floor overlooked the football field. Well,
Nice.
from the States, you're like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Party at my place every freaking time there's a football game.
yeah.
No. And it was actually one of the reasons why I dropped out of school. There's no spirit. There's nobody has fun. There's no cheerleaders. There's no football games. There's no anything.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
Just
Go sit down.
If you went to the football game, you were considered like a freak.
What? Marabelle, you need to leave her alone. It's crazy. But do men there, are they held at a higher standard? Even though they're boring, are they held at a higher standard, and do they treat the women with a higher standard, or is it still like here where they're trying to get as much as they can for as little as they can? And I don't.
Oh, it's the same.
Okay, because I don't just mean money. Like, I went on a date with this guy, and he picked me up in his car, and he pulls up in front of. First of all, he pulls up in front of my apartment building and texts me, "I'm outside," and I was like,
Oh my god.
and I texted him back. I was like, "That's nice for you. I'm inside."
How's that working out for you?
Right. So he finally like comes to the door and rings the doorbell, and I'm like, okay. So then I come out, and we walk to his car, and he walks around to the driver's side and opens the door and gets in the car. And I'm still standing outside. And he's like, what are you waiting for? And I was like, for my door to open.
where are these men coming from?
Right. So then we go to the place, we go to dinner, and he opens the door for me for dinner, and I walk in and I'm like, oh, thank you. And he's like, oh, yeah, you see that? I got the door for you. And I was like, oh, like, that's a big deal? Like, I'm supposed to be excited for that? I'm supposed to cream my panties because you opened the door for me? You should just be doing that. You should be raised and hardwired to know that you should open it, especially a first date.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should be opening doors for me. You shouldn't be texting me that you're outside. You should be walking on the other side of me when we're on the sidewalk to protect me. As a man, that should just be what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So forget that these men are cheap. They want zero effort. Zero effort. And it's true, these women will...
Part of that is the society that we're living in. It's, very technologically based. Does
Right.
it mean that's an excuse? Absolutely not. The other problem is parents don't know how to parent. Therefore, they are not teaching these things to their children, which they should be from the time they are able to walk. So to be fair, these guys don't even freaking get it. Now, you would expect if you want to have, if you want to set yourself above everybody else and get more dates than the rest of these guys,
Right.
that's all you got to do.
Right.
It's not hard. The bar is low right now.
Right.
But this is a really bad thing because there are really some good women out there. And certainly anybody who's watching right now, we don't want anybody to think that we are these, hoity-toity women that are looking, for the best looking man and the best is the... Yes, we all want the
I don't
best.
need the best anything.
But...
Listen, $3 shots and a PBR at the local pub and I'm good to go. Like,
Here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with wanting respect. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. Wanting to be treated well, and I think that everybody deserves it. I mean, personally, I think I'm a good woman, and
I don't think you should be apologizing for that at all.
Right, no, and nobody is going to get the best part of me without that person showing me their effort. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to show me that you're worth everything that I'm willing to give you.
You said the best part of me and it reminded me. I literally went on a date last night. Last night I went on a date. And the date ended with me telling the guy, the best part of you is an amoeba. It literally, listen, Castaway 98 who says, I'd like to know where that guy's fantasy world is where bare minimum of chivalry equals instant panty creamer. Let me tell you, it comes from a lot of these women, and I'm not saying I'm better or at anything or above anything else, but there's so many women who are laying on their backs and cooking for these men and doing everything for these men who aren't doing anything for them in return. Now, let me tell you, I'm a Latin woman, and so in my blood, in my nature, I am a caregiver.
Me too.
This is what I do. I cook, I clean, I want to take care of my man. I come home, my man wants a beer, I pop open a beer for him.
Right.
But I'm also a stand-up comedian, and will give it to you when it needs to be given to you.
Exactly.
And it's so. I mean, and there are these women that just like lay down and take it, and they're just like. They're not expecting anything from men in return. So men all of a sudden think that the next girl is going to be the same way. And then they meet me and all of a sudden I'm the bitch because I want you to open the door for me.
Right.
Or I want you to court me. Don't text me at 11 o'clock at night and say, hey, what are you doing? Want to meet up tonight for some drinks? That's not a date. And then when I turn you down and say, I'm sorry, I'm at home, don't sit there and go, I've asked you on dates, Justine. How come you don't want to date me? That's not a date. No, if you're not asking me with at least 48 hours notice, the answer is no. Because I'm not always available for you.
Something, again, don't apologize for that. That's a standard that every female should be holding up for these guys to have to measure up to.
Right.
And no, that does not mean anybody's hoity-toity or anything else. It's called having respect for yourself. That you're not going to put up with any of this kind of behavior.
Right.
And, you're right. The problem is too many women have been putting up with it. Too many women have been, putting up with the derogatory comments and everything else that these guys have been doing. Well, I mean, the whole hip-hop industry has been built on the degradation of women.
Yeah.
So... there's a lot of influence out there, and that's the problem that you're up against. It would be great if everybody would, pick up an etiquette book and learn how to actually be human beings to one another, but I think socially we're going down the toilet.
Oh, completely.
I'm starting to believe that too. speaking of hoity-toity and and the whole etiquette and men chastising women and all this stuff. And I spoke to you earlier about that, and I spoke to Justine the other day, and I sent her a text message. We both had discussed in our last show the reason why we were not at the previous establishment, that we are no longer going to use their name because they're so not worth the plug. That the reason why we were not there, because this person that we called the salty pirate was saying scathy things about us.
Right.
And it was so bad that the person that shared this information with us, instead of telling us the instant that it happened, she didn't tell me until like a couple of days later. And I was like, well, why didn't you say anything? It's quite disturbing to know that there was a man sitting there and really saying horrible things about us.
Right, calling us whores and all kinds of things or whatever.
Okay. So, long story short, we get, we don't get, what is the word that you said? That we weren't defended. There was no defense for us, for this one person that was complaining. So, the other day, I was going out to get some dinner, and I ran into a girl that still works there, and she's talking about how she's being screwed over by the owner, etc., which is no surprise there because that's what he likes to do. So I tell her, well, look at what he did to us. And because of that one person, and she says the person's name, who, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, him. And she says, he died. And I'm like, he died? Like, what do you mean he died? She goes, he's dead. And I'm like, dead? I couldn't believe it. Like, it just took a moment to register that I was being told that the salty pirate is dead. Well, he died on Sunday. And I don't know. I'm not insinuating that it's karma or whatever. Maybe it's the karma of the other person who took his side over our side. And what's even more stupider is that the place that he frequented
did they say what he died of?
He had some kind. Why do I hear like cameras flicking? Is that your phone taking pictures?
What did he die of?
Anyway. So apparently he had some health issue going on with his stomach. I guess he had some water and it needs to be drained out, and he didn't do anything, and he started coughing up blood.
So that's what they're saying he died of?
Yeah, well, they didn't say exactly what it was.
So I got away with it.
I don't know what it was exactly, but I guess the man was not in very good health, and this is why I can't. This is the reason why I can't attribute it to karma. But I think that the other person got their karma because he was on his side instead of our side. No, wait, but then it gets better. It gets better, okay? The place that the salty pirate frequented the most, you think that he died, that they would do like some kind of tribute. All drinks on me. You would think, right? You're a business owner. Right. You own a bar. You would say, hey, the salty pirate, which is not his real name, but that's what we call him. Right. The salty pirate was here all the time. Everybody come. Day. Let's have a party in memory of him. First round of drinks on me. Why would he do that? Because he's not even a real business person. He's an ass. So, guess what? Karma. In this instant, karma has a funny way of repaying, because another bar that he barely frequented is going to have a party under his name. So guess who's going to be making the money, and guess who's not going to be making the money?
We're already giving them too much. We're already giving them too much attention and focus.
But think about it. Think about the whole karma of it. I'm just saying. Rest in peace, salty pirate.
Yeah, rest in peace. Whatever.
You don't mean that.
I would say, why would you say rest in peace? The guy
Yeah.
snagged you.
No,
Screw
I
that.
don't mean it.
Burn
I don't
him
give a
out,
shit.
bitch.
Right. Right. Thank you, Dr. Sue. I don't give a shit.
No, because seriously, once we're gone, it's like your body's no longer there, your soul's there, but I would like to think that, you know, maybe the reason why
Right.
he's dead is because he's such a crabby old fuck.
Crabby old fucking salty pirate.
He'd still be alive.
Right.
I don't give a shit that you died.
No.
Doesn't affect me. I would fucking lose sleep over it.
Literally, she texted me and she told me, and my response was, wow.
Wow, that's all I can say.
That's
is
all I can
wow.
say to that. Wow. I
No,
don't.
seriously, this is a guy who called you whores.
Of course. Right. I don't give a
And
shit.
cunts, I think. I think he called us
A
cunts.
few more times for me. Like, that's crap.
Okay, I was trying to be nice about it, but the fact is that I'm laughing because it's funny.
I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to respect the dead and blah, 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 whatever. But it's
Look,
like Dr. Sue said, when you're
there-
gone, you're gone. The only thing
There
you
have
really-
been plenty of people that have passed away that I did not like, and I didn't sit there and rejoice and say, ding dong, they're dead and all this stuff. I didn't do all of that.
I don't know
but
why not. This whole bar is
there
throwing a
was this-
party.
there was
He
this-
died and this whole bar is throwing a party.
There was this one girl. Oh, look, Adam Richmond is okay. Never mind. There was this one girl who became stalkerish with me when I used to make 12-step meetings. She was very upset about a
Are
comment.
you trying
that
to tell
I
me that
made.
everyone that pisses you off dies?
I don't think so. I hope not. That's like a scary thought now that I'm thinking about it. But no, she was terminally ill. She was already sick. And she got upset over something I said at a meeting because I had disagreed with her. So she took the liberty of going to every 12-step meeting that I was going to and chastising me. Like, you know, if I would raise my hand and share, she would raise her hand afterwards. And some person and blah, 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 and say all of these things and then walk out of the room. And then people would sit there and like share afterwards and be like, who the fuck is she and where does she come from? Okay, so needless
she's
to
dead?
say, she passed away. Yes. And everybody was boo-hoo crying, whatever. And it's like, she's
That's
gone.
hypocritical, though.
So
Right. Thank you. I'm like pointing at a speaker like it's you. Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Sue. It's so hypocritical. And
Why do people do that? You know, okay, the person's an asshole to you. Then they die, and everyone goes, oh, that's just so terrible. No, it's not. He was an asshole.
right.
An asshole.
I
Right.
was really indifferent. I had a friend call me up because there's always
No.
that one person in 12-step meetings that has to know the 411 and everything and then call everybody to tell them. And I got this phone call and he's like, oh, I just called to tell you that so-and-so died. And I'm like, yeah, and? I mean, it's like life goes on.
Here's the thing. It's like what Dr. Sue said, and I 100% wholeheartedly agree. Like, when you're gone, and you don't leave anything behind except your legacy
Right.
and your word and your actions.
Right.
What you've left behind is your
Exactly.
actions and what you've done. So if you don't want people spitting on your grave,
Right.
don't act like a fucking rhymes with cunt. Unless it's in my case, and we don't really give a shit. Unless you're Dr. Sue and you don't want to be caught looking at her grave. Because it's going to say, what the fuck are you looking at?
Exactly.
I want to make sure that I leave a very good legacy of KEM Top Talk and all the wonderful work that we continue doing every day with Kinky Magazine, with even with Velvet Radio,
Right.
all of the history that every day we're making a history of our life. And I
Right.
think that's so relevant about the choices that we make on a daily basis.
And if
Here's-
you guys can uplift one person,
Right.
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
On that note being said, because I know we got to get off
Yeah,
soon, right?
5 minutes.
I just want to, because you mentioned Velvet Radio, I just want to put out there that my thoughts and prayers are out to Velvet Radio's producer and families and stuff who was hit very
Yes. Mhm.
hard by the storm.
Mhm,
Sandy that came through here and lost everything.
mhm,
The entire community lost everything, and from what I understand, we've been in very little contact because he's, this
Yeah.
person's getting their life back together and everything. But hopefully we'll have Velvet Radio back up and running very soon. People need to get their personal things worked out first, as understood.
Exactly.
And thoughts and prayers, please, and whatever good vibes and karmas, whatever you can send.
Yeah, absolutely.
To
And if anybody's planning on going to that 12-12-12 concert,
buy the tickets directly through Ticketmaster, whoever's there. Don't go to StubHub.
No.
Do not spend $38,000 on a fucking ticket that's going in somebody else's pocket. It's not going to anybody of the relief fund. There's a reason why people are
Right.
doing these concerts. And if you support people who are thieves, then you're just a fucking moron.
Right. And if you don't have money, but you have time, volunteer time to help out with Sandy relief victims. It's the holidays. So
Mhm.
please help out with like your local Christmas and holiday, housings and
Yeah,
soup
anything
kitchens
you
and stuff.
can do.
I know on Christmas Day I'll be at the soup kitchen with my roommate, and we will be. That's what we're doing for Christmas. We'll be at the soup kitchen helping out. If you can't find ways to help out and stuff like that, do your own thing. Help raise money. Set up a charity. Set up a little fund and help out the best way you know, please, because there are a lot of
I
people
mean,
in
even
distress right
children
now.
do this. There's a little boy who set
Right.
up a thing, a
Right.
charity thing.
People can use as much help as they need right now, and one
Yeah.
day when you need help, it will come back to you
Yeah,
tenfold.
exactly. You have to pay it forward.
Right.
Dr. Sue, any last thoughts, words?
100%. My co-host of my show actually was hit extremely hard. So
Oh,
yeah, do everything that you possibly can, because the media, unfortunately, once it's no longer sensational,
mm-hmm.
Right.
they just don't cover it anymore. And what you
Right.
guys have to understand is there are still people with no homes, no clothing, no food, no water.
Yeah,
And that may seem crazy because you're like, oh, but it's New York. No,
Mhm.
trust me.
Yeah.
There are pockets that have nothing
Yes,
even now.
exactly.
So just because you don't see it on the 6 o'clock news doesn't mean it's not happening. So
Right.
Get out there.
Right, exactly. Well, we want to thank everybody for watching, and thank you for watching the replay when you watch it all over again. We want to thank Dr. Sue for joining in our show.
Yes.
Thank you
And
for having me.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr. Sue.
you.
We love when you're here. I love talking to you so much.
yes, it's so much fun. And
My
we're
pleasure. I
hoping
love being here.
that once we get into the new studio that we can have a little whole Skype screen going on, and everything will be in its perfect order. And of course, thank Justine for coming out into the
Aw.
Kinky Magazine headquarters, which is at a mysterious location.
Woo!
And my cat will be very happy when I let her back in the bedroom.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I love the show, and I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad we're doing this again.
Yes, and we can't make a promise that we'll be back next week, but we definitely are working in the background, getting some things together so that we can give you a really great KEM Top Talk. That's what we're here for.
I'm here to make everyone as humanly uncomfortable as possible.
Yes. And I'm here to help her sometimes. But mostly help myself. So thank everybody for watching, and we'll be back when we come back. And remember, like we said before, the holidays are coming up. If you can volunteer, donate, whatever it is that you can do, just do it and pay it forward.
The best way is to go to your local city or states.org website, and you can sign up there, and you know everything that you're doing is safe and legitimate.
Right, exactly. Don't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, bye everybody.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Bye.
We done?